So I entered some drawers recently and for a luxury home. And they're gonna be drawn in the next couple of weeks. The first one I believe is on the 20th. I've got it written in my journal. Well, the third is one of the trifecta drawers. The 28th is the Gold Coast home. And the 20th is the car draw. I've even won the car before, right? And, well, not this car, but this is like a Honda, but a car, and it was, I think it was sold to a second-hand dealer, but they said, oh, the glass isn't any good, rain goes through it and whatnot, and I think in the end we gave them back the money that they gave us or whatever, so, the thing with these things, they're a little bit synthetic. When you win, they're a bit synthetic. The gloss is usually something that rain can get through, or something. The gloss is very weak. It's weak glass. You know how, glass can set, and when it's not set properly, things like water can get through the glass. So that's what you find with these charity things. It's like continuously problems. Like you get given things that have problems, and usually when the biggest problem is the things, even in the car, when it rains, rain gets into the car. When it rains, rain gets into the house, even when all the doors are locked and stuff. So you generally have to put like a special waterproof glaze to stop the rain from getting into the house or the car or whatever. But yeah. So it's not really good. I mean, if I was needing a house, and it was, you can manage, if you were really needing a house, you can sort of manage, but it's not the ideal conditions to win something luxurious and then have problems. I mean, you would usually expect things contain no problems, but all these ones from this particular organization, they all have problems. The first thing that you notice is water gets through even when the glass is closed and stuff, and it's like, that's because it's crappy glass. It hasn't been made in a proper way to have the glass reinforced and water gets through. I think it's also called trick glass, where the glass has a weakness, so magicians can do their tricks, right? So that's the first thing that you notice. But I entered this drawer because, I thought I was going to be abandoned. Not abandoned, but, someone wanted to buy their own house. And so I said, oh crap, I need to live somewhere too, So then I noticed all these drawers are coming up, and I thought, well, if this is how it's going to be, may as well enter these drawers just in case I win a house. I mean, I know what to expect. A little bit of violence, a little bit of problems with glass and stuff, but depending on where you win it, most issues can get fixed. The one on the Sunshine Coast, always has little kids around on bikes, and they carry you, and they start talking to you, and then they start arguing with you, and then, in the end, they carry guns. So, generally, that's what you expect. So you need like a bulletproof car or something, and you can't ride the bike that you get given for free and stuff. You have to watch out what you have to figure out, when the kids are going to be there and when they're not. Sometimes like early in the morning they won't be there, um, and stuff, and you'll be able to do whatever, you go out and come back. But it's a very restrictive thing. Um, but on the Gold Coast it's a little bit better. So I generally would like to probably win either the trifecta draw or the one in the Gold Coast. The problem with the trifecta draw is that um if you win an apartment, you go and try and stay there. You're often stalked by, the people who, are a little bit Middle Eastern looking, and of course, if they get into your apartment or whatever, they're gonna end up getting violent. So you generally need it's very hard to put up with. I didn't like the trifecta drive. I think yeah, those apartments are very hard to rent. You rent them, real estate get the people in the real estate, they get abducted. You have to sort out the issue. You have to get police involved or whatever, and I don't know. Um, it's really difficult. So I hope that I don't really want to win. I think the safest one is the Gold Coast one. I don't particularly like the trifecta draws. Um, the first time I went to see the apartment, it's like someone didn't want me to have it, and I think I ended up getting a call back saying, "Oh, you can have the three apartments." And I was I've been to Sydney a couple of times, and somehow, and been to the Gold Coast to try and stay in a Gold Coast apartment. It's like it's very difficult. It is really. You need probably to reinforce your apartment with bulletproof coatings because you've got a person threatening you with violence as soon as you win it and stuff, and of course they get into your apartment, so like, oh, argue, but um, all these things are really harsh and difficult, and it's not like a smooth scale win here. It's not like you can go, yeah, I've won. It's like problem, problem, problem. I think the one that I lived in the longest was the house. Well, the house in the Sunshine Coast you can live in for a little while, but you end up getting problems with people living around the area, and you end up getting threatened with guns and told to leave, and so you can't really live there. So I think the Gold Coast one was the more one, but saying that I was getting my butt kicked by the stalker person who was creating issues, and um so, so I mean, when there was no security there, they were breaking into the house because they probably had a spare key or something, and they were bullying you around, beating you up, or just hitting you. And the first time I saw them, they'd walked in. I think it was either early in the morning, and I'd just waken up, and they were like looking at me, like standing there chewing on gum or something and staring at me. I was like, I'd been sleeping on my backpack because I was just visiting the place to see what it was like. And then, I was having problems with my family. And, I kept on looking like this little street kid. wanting to live in. So they could break in very easily. You needed to change the locks, and you needed to do this and that, and it's like it gets fixed up little bit by little bit, but yeah. But another one on the Gold Coast and then near the same area, on the other side of the quay, and they were like, oh, we don't ever have like, it was just dirt with a few lines of bricks where the house was supposed to be, and they're like, oh, this is all that's ever gonna be here, it's never gonna be a house here, and you're like, I apparently won that one too, and that was when I was discussed that I had one in the past. They were like, oh, aren't you someone who's won in a house already? And I was like, yeah, but it didn't really work out, and I someone stole my key, and I sort of gave up on it because after they took my key away, no one would give me a key back, and I just sort of I didn't have any issues sorted out. I couldn't, and I just sort of forgot about it. And they're like, oh, you should phone up the agency. Maybe you can get it back, and start living there again. And I did phone them up, and they said, no, it's gone. Don't worry, just forget about it. And I was like, oh, okay. Very traumatic because it was like the one that I'd fixed a little bit, but I don't know what I'd do if I do get the phone call, whether I want to win it or not. Apparently you can choose to win the money or the house. Generally I won't want the money because the house just comes with problems, but I don't know, they probably send you a blank check or something. I think I've tried to put cash in checks and they're just blank checks or whatever, so it's very difficult. But so I've never gotten any money, and I was like, what if I win? What would I do? I would freak out. I don't really want to win, but if the world was moving, and I would say why not? I would say why not? Let's just go live there. I don't especially like the trifecta one. Even though they're supposed to be, really amazing apartments in particular areas, but I would probably want to win the house one. The one that's more like a house. You're gonna get a house with problems. I don't know if the house will come with problems, but in my experience, the last one that I had one did, and I was like, what would I do if I get the call and should tell me I've won? And I'm like, I would freak out because I don't know what I would choose. So, but if the world was moving, who I lived with wanted to move away, I was left by myself, either stuck in a rental or whatever, I would go, why not? Let's just try and live in the house again. But you're probably going to get like all these issues. I don't think it's supposed to be like the luxurious experience that you're rumored to have or you envision yourself having. I think it's always supposed to be a hard time because you've gotten something expensive for free. And, it's associated with an organization that's like, I don't think it's supposed to be that luxurious trip. I think it's supposed to be hard on you, and that's how it feels. It feels hard. So, I'm someone who's quite busy. I don't want to be trapped in a building where people are waiting outside to attack you and stuff. It's like, if I ever did win, I'd be able to do whatever I like. I would generally try and manage my work from home, and or whatever, or if I want to work in an office, I could, but aim to, but I want to be able to go for a walk. I want to be able to go to the post office or the shops for food or whatever whenever I want. So I don't want people outside waiting for you. It's like, but I don't know what I do now that I'm not desperate for a place. Maybe I would just hold on to the key, visit it or something once a week. I don't really know what I would want to do. I guess I would. I'm not even sure if these places are supposed to be safe. They're not ever safe as far as I'm concerned. A bit creepy, actually. But if I was alone, I'd be like, yeah. Well, I'd want to be like, okay, let's try and live here again. But I'm not alone right now. I don't know what I'd choose. All these memories make me sad. Remember things that I wanted to forget or had forgotten because it never worked out. I was like, oh, I wish I had that now. I wish I had that all along. And then I could have, I know, gained a little bit of independence. I never had independence or integrity or anything. I'm like, really just going nowhere. But if I still had that, I'd be going and visiting and be like, yeah, just remember to have a key for a house. Let's go visit. And it's like all these places just, I don't know. It's a far vacant memory. I didn't even know what happened to the apartment, trifecta apartment, but it wasn't any good. I think I visited Sydney twice because you get like a air voucher. So I think I went to Sydney twice to try and sort out issues. I didn't get any money in the end, and